What up, y'all? It's your boy Roxo, and I'm getting on here today to talk about something very personal to me that I feel only I can speak about, unless you have the exact same albinism I do. But yeah, that's the point of today. That's the subject of today, is my albinism and how I cope with it, I guess. So first off, we got my appearance. The reason I look like this, most people think that I dye my hair. If you dye your hair this color, you're not smart. I'm not going to call you stupid, but you're not smart. I would never ask for this. That said, I do love myself, and I love the way I look, but I did not choose this, and I would never choose this. But I still think I look awesome. But anyway, the reason I look like this is a thing called melanin. Melanin, people of darker skin tone have more melanin. It's the color in our skin. So, people of lighter skin tone have less melanin. I have none whatsoever. That means I have no color in my hair, no color in my eyebrows, none of that. No color in my eyes. You may see colors, but that's just because my eyes kind of change colors. I don't know. I've never been explained that by a doctor. That's just kind of something that happens, I guess. But, most people would think my eyes would always be pink. They're not always pink. I'm not a rat. Don't compare me to an albino rat. Just because it's an albino does not mean we are on that same spectrum. But anyway, I have more than just albinism. There's different types of albinism. Some people have just pale skin, or just pale hair, or just maybe eye condition. It varies. So again, I can only speak with my experience, so I don't know what everybody's going through. I have retinitis pigmentosa in my eyes and nystagmus. Retinitis pigmentosa, again, is just no pigment in my retinas. And nystagmus means you see my eyes going crazy. It's just that I can't control it. So anybody in the comments who is asking questions or trying to pick at me for that, I don't really care what you think. That's not me like trying to start a fight. I just don't care, because there's surgeries I can get to fix it, but this is me, so I'm not going to try to go be somebody else. Lots of blind people or albino people want to fix their vision, and I get that. I would love to have normal vision, but also that's not who I was brought into this world as. I'm not a fully sighted person. I don't know what y'all do. I don't live y'all life. I live my life. But anyway, yeah, it's more than just a skin condition. Obviously my skin condition plays a big role in it. I get sunburnt very easily. I got to put on lots of sunscreen if I go to the beach or something. And I got to wear sunglasses for my eyes, because the sun is very bright on my skin and eyes. Doesn't really affect my hair, I don't think. Who knows? I'm sure having color in your hair gives your hair a little extra protection. And yeah, but again, I love my hair. I would never change my hair for anything. This is just who I am. An albino, that's just who I was born to be. Some people may look at it as a curse. In some cultures, I'm, considered to be an angel or whatever. I don't know specifically. I just know that some cultures look at us in the higher power. In certain places in Africa, we're looked at as, witchcraft, and our bones can be used for rituals. I'm not saying that's not true. I don't live in Africa, so I don't know. I just know the stories because I've done a lot of research into my albinism. And, I don't see many people talking about it like this. Most people, get put in interviews, and then they're like, oh, well, yeah, being an albino is awesome, or whatever, but life is what you make it. So if it is awesome for you, that's great for you. And my life is awesome, but I don't think that has anything to do with my albinism. A lot of people will try to take advantage of that. They think because I'm blind that I'm some kind of punk or something, and that's whatever it is. I've had people who I've told I was blind, and then they immediately take advantage of that. And if we're in a fight or something, they swing right for my eyes. And to those people, I will see you one day. and you better hope you're not alone. Just saying. Just because I'm blind don't mean I can't throw them hands. I don't like to. I don't want to hurt nobody because I don't want to take away nobody's ability to see, because some people, they get hit in the head, they can't see, they can, I would never wish harm on anybody. But it came with a lot of challenges being albino. People have tried to trick me, do whatever, yada, 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 Of course, there's going to be those jokes, lots of people think it's hilarious to call me Jack Frost or whatever, and hey, that's whatever. I don't really think about it too much, honestly. I think all the jokes y'all say in the comments are hilarious. The Kermit the Frog video I did the other day, somebody commented, I need to do something with my life, get a job or something. That's hilarious. I would like to see you try to be a blind person and get a job somewhere, because they're gonna tell you no just because you're blind. So, try living in my shoes. You won't make it a day. I promise you that. It ain't easy, but it's who I am. And the hardest part for me is not being able to drive, really. I wish I could drive, but just sadly I can't. I can't read small print. That's about the only other thing I can't do. I mean, I can pretty much do anything else y'all can do. I mean, I need a little help seeing from far away. I wear sunglasses until it's dark out because, yeah, I don't like the sun. So my favorite season is winter. Even though it gets bright in the winter, most of the time it's cloudy, so I can go outside, have fun, and I'm not sweating, because that's another thing with my skin. I'm very affected by the heat, so I get heat stroke very easy. I've had heat stroke a couple times in my life. It's not fun, but that's just what I live with. But yeah, I mean, really, I just wanted to spread the word just in case anybody's like curious what it's like to be an albino, or doesn't know what albino means, or thinks it's some kind of joke that people make up for some reason. Lots of people think I make up that I'm albino. Again, not very smart people. I would not make this up in a million years. It's something that really affects my life in a big dramatic way. Yes, I can do anything you can do, but it takes me a little bit longer because I have to process what I'm seeing. I don't like to rush into things, and lots of people get mad at me for that. Some of them might be my family. I'm not calling names here. I'm just saying. Some people try to rush me along, and I don't like that. That's not how I like to go about things, because if I do rush into something and I get hurt, if I get hit in the head wrong, I could go fully blind, and then, I already feel like I'm a burden, so me being fully blind just wouldn't be good for me. I do plan on getting my own place and living alone as soon as I possibly can. I wish that, people would support that a little more. Some people think that I'm too blind for that or whatever. I think that's a horrible way to look at the world. If you think that somebody's limited just because of their vision, or that they need you just because of their vision, it's depressing. It's really depressing. I'm going through a kind of not a dark time in my life, but people really get me down with that shit stuff. I'm sorry, YouTube. But anyway, I'm not gonna keep talking, burning y'all ears off. But yeah, that's my point of view on it. If you have any other different points of view as an albino or just as a person with a disability, I would love to hear it in the comments. I support anybody with any disability. I may not have any diagnosed mental disabilities, but like I tell people all the time, when you're a blind person or just a person with a disability, you kind of just develop your own mental issues, and that's just kind of how life is. It's not easy, but yeah, I'm gonna end it here. I hope y'all have a blessed day. Like I said, hit me in the comments with any cool stories, and yeah, if you have any questions, I'm free to answer them. I'm happy to answer them. Anything. And if you have anything rude to say, please say it. It makes my day. I'm serious. But yeah, have a good day, y'all. Peace. Let's get it.